This month has been an incredibly colourful one in the world of indie games, with games like Hue, We Happy Few and Yooka-laylee all vying for our attention by using every crayon in the box. We've also spent some time at Gamescom, mostly chilling in the Yuki booth, where you can find some of the UK's best indie game developers and also the only decent tea in the whole conference centre. But obviously, I was there for the games. While we were out at Gamescom, I hung out with Curve Digital, the indie publishers and developers behind games like The Swindle, The Swapper and Stealthink. They had a few new games to show off, the first of which was colour-based puzzle platformer Hue. It's gorgeous, easy to pick up and creative enough to keep you on your toes like any good puzzle game. I spoke to developer Henry Hoffman while I was there, and we talked colour blindness, level design and Hue's unique aesthetic.
First of all, tell me a little bit about Hue.
So Hue is a colourful puzzle platformer coming to pretty much every console, in particular Xbox One. And the idea is that in this game world, all the characters in the world can only see in black and white. But your mother, she studies the theory of colours, which to them is like a hypothetical concept because they can't see colours. And then she becomes so obsessed with her research that she kind of gets expelled from a university because they accuse her of sort of alchemic sort of research and stuff. And then you go off on this adventure, your mother disappears and you have to find fragments of her research throughout the game world to perceive and alter colour.
The whole game has this sort of doodle style to it. Sure. Is that something you intended?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so we came up with this cool mechanic which involves sort of bringing up this colour wheel and changing the background colour. But it means that really the only colours that we can use in the game world are black and white. And generally what we do is like white symbolises things that aren't solid, black symbolises things that are solid. And we had this very simple sort of soul bass minimalist movie art poster style idea to begin with. But then we realised that we really couldn't communicate sort of varied environments using that. So then we started really working on adding negative space with this sort of detailed line work. And then the entire art style really was born about from the mechanic. So here you can see, like, I can't get through here because there's like this red object in the way. And by altering perceptual contrast, we can be like, wow, that doesn't exist anymore. And so here we've got things like conveyor belts, and these kind of add just an extra level of complexity. And then we've got keys and locked doors and all the sort of typical puzzle platforming elements, but then when this core mechanic adds kind of a new twist to everything, really.
Yeah.
So here we've got some cool new stuff as well. These little sort of bouncy block things that sort of cycle through the colours of the colour wheel as well.
I don't suppose any of your team are colourblind, are they?
Actually, no. One of our guys is colourblind.
Really?
Yeah.
That must be fun.
So we've been building a colourblind mode from the ground up.
Really?
Yeah. So that's been like a big concern from the start. Really, we don't want to sort of be exclusionary. We want everyone to really be able to play it. So we've built this sort of symbol-based system where each colour on the colour wheel has a different symbol, which is a mode that you can turn on if you want.
Henry, thank you very much for showing us the game.
Thank you.
And thanks for talking to us as well.
No problem.
And of course there was the Xbox showcase at Gamescom, which had idea Xbox titles like the much awaited 1930s animation battle game Cuphead, 60s apocalyptic horror We Happy Few, bullet time shooter Super Hot and post-deluge survival game The Flame in the Flood, alongside the bigger titles like Tomb Raider and Halo. Expect to see much more of those games over the next few months as they make their way to console. In the Xbox presentation, Ron Gilbert, the creator of Monkey Island, came up on stage to show off Thimbleweed Park, a pixelated throwback to point-and-click LucasArts games of old. It looks like X-Files meets Twin Peaks, set in a dead-end town in America. If you've ever loved point-and-click adventures, then combine this game with your Xbox One when it comes out in 2016. In non-Gamescom news, Playtonic game Yooka-laylee, made by a team mostly comprised of ex-Rare developers, is now being published by indie superstars Team 17. The Kickstarted game, which earned over $2 million from crowdfunding, is due for release in October 2016. In new releases this month, we have the excellent Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, a beautiful and heartbreaking fairy tale journey with two brothers searching for a cure for their dying father. And speaking of brothers, you can also get Max: The Curse of Brotherhood for 80% off this week. You'd be mad not to buy it. So good. But first, let's take another look at what I got up to at Curve Digital. Here's me chatting to the developer of Action Henk, a Trials Fusion-like runner starring a failed, chubby 90s action hero.
Well, this is Action Henk.
Yeah.
Action Henk used to be a really cool action figure back in the 90s. And he's sort of in a midlife crisis right now. And he gets challenged by his rival, who basically steals his sort of Toy of the Year award. And he wants to prove that he's still got what it takes.
Yeah.
So So the game itself is very simple. It's a lot like Trials, for example, or Sonic. It's just you have these levels and you have to run and jump and slide on your butt as fast as you can, and that's basically what the whole game is about. So you can race against different kind of medals. That's basically the whole point of the game, racing against medals. And I'm now racing against the gold medal, which you can see over there. You can also race against your friends, and you can challenge them, and you can race against their ghosts, because all the ghosts are stored online. So here you see, this is Betsy, and you can race several characters. You meet them throughout the game, and you have to race them in order to unlock them. So when you beat Betsy, you can play as Betsy.
Are there any sort of secret details in the background that we should be paying attention to?
There's a lot of subtle or not so subtle references in the background. So there's definitely more than enough that will catch your eye.
And these medals, like what happens if you collect all the medals?
So you use the medals to unlock new areas, basically. That's sort of how you progress. So I just unlocked everything for now, just to show you, but you need a certain amount of medals to progress throughout the game and to unlock new challenges and new areas.
So I've seen that it goes up to difficulty hard here. Is there one above hard?
When you complete the storyline, we basically say, okay, you finished. However, if you still want to continue, here's a bunch of levels that you can try out, which are insanely hard. And those levels are definitely inspired by games such as Super Meat Boy or Trials, who also have they start out real easy, but then later on they are like, all right, you came all this way, you want a challenge? Sure, we'll give you a challenge.
Coming soon to Xbox One, we also have Submerged, a survival game made by the developers of BioShock, Beyond Eyes, a watercolor-painted exploration game about a blind girl, and the episodic King's Quest, an exciting swords and dragons adventure with comic book graphics, which was part of the Xbox One Summer Spotlight. Keep an eye out for more excellent indie games coming to you over the next few weeks as part of the promotion. That's everything I can fit into the show for this month. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you did, and let me know what your indie highlight is this month in the comments. See you next time. Bye!